I never expected the night to unfold the way it did. It started with a favor, simple, harmless, just helping out a friend of a friend. But by the time the sun rose the next morning, everything I thought I knew about my heart had shifted. Let me start at the beginning. My best friend Maya had a sudden family emergency. She called me in a panic, needing to fly out of town for a few days. I told her not to worry. I'd water her plants, grab her mail, and check on her apartment. What I didn't expect was Xavier, her quiet, observant roommate, to be the one caught. In the middle, his AC is broken, Maya had said. He's dying in this heat. Think he could crash at your place for a night or two? Just until I get back? I hesitated, not because I minded the idea of Xavier staying over, but because, well, let's just say there was always something a little magnetic about him. The bartender with the deep voice, the soft laugh, and the kind eyes. He was quiet, yes, but not in a way that felt awkward, more like someone who listened more than he spoke. And every time I visited Maya, I noticed him watching, not intrusively, just attentively. So when he showed up at my door with a duffel bag slung over his shoulder and that familiar crooked smile, I ignored the flutter in my chest and told myself it was just a temporary arrangement. It's just for one night, I said. You're more than welcome. He nodded, grateful. Thanks. I promised not to take up too much space. What struck me was how different he seemed outside of Maya's apartment, more at ease, like someone who had taken off a layer of social armor. He wandered through my living room, commenting softly on the photos on my shelves, the books I had stacked near the couch. He was noticing everything, including me. We decided to put on a movie one neither of us really watched. I had poured us each a glass of wine, and soon the conversation turned comfortable, then personal. We shared stories, laughed at each other's awkward moments, and slowly, the invisible line between acquaintance and something more began to blur. You know, Xavier said after a particular long silence, I've always thought there was something about you. My heart skipped. Something? He looked straight at me. Yeah, you light up rooms, Lily, even the ones you don't realize you're in. I didn't know what to say. Compliments that genuine always catch me off guard. So I just smiled, my cheeks burning, and reached for my wine again. Somewhere between the second glass and the end of the not-watched movie, our hands brushed. A moment that felt innocent, but wasn't. I'm sorry, he murmured, but he didn't pull away. Neither did I. The tension in the room had become something living and breathing. But just when it felt like it might tip into something more, he stood. I should get some sleep, he said, voice low. Thank you again for letting me stay. I nodded, trying not to show my disappointment. The guest room's all yours. He paused in the hallway and glanced back. Good night, Lily. Good night, Xavier. I went to bed telling myself it was better this way, that crossing that line would have been too complicated. After all, he was Maya's roommate. And Maya was family to me. But then, around 2 a.m., I heard a soft knock on my bedroom door. Lily? Came his voice, almost uncertain. Can we talk? I pulled on a robe and opened the door. He was standing there, barefoot, eyes unreadable. I couldn't sleep, he said. Something about tonight? I don't know. I just needed to say something. He stepped inside, careful to keep his distance. I didn't come here expecting anything to happen. But I can't shake the feeling that we're both pretending we don't feel this. I didn't speak. I just watched him, heart pounding. Don't want to cross any lines, he continued, especially with Maya. But if I'm being honest, I've wanted to be close to you for a long time. That confession cracked something in me. I walked over, reached for his hand, and said, You're not alone in that. We didn't kiss. Not that night, but we sat on the edge of my bed and talked until dawn. About everything, our fears, our pasts, the people we'd lost, and the things we hoped to find. It was the most intimate conversation I'd had in years. When morning came, I made coffee and he helped me set the table like he'd done it 100 times. There was a quiet understanding between us. Something new had begun, but neither of us rushed it. Later that afternoon, Maya texted, "So, did my matchmaking finally work?" I blinked at the message. "Wait, what?" I typed back. "Oh, come on. I've been dropping hints for months. You two are perfect together. Just needed a little heat wave to get things going." I stared at the phone, a smile creeping over my face. It all made sense now. The accidental dinner invites, the double-booked movie nights, the times Maya had to step out conveniently. When Xavier and I were together, Xavier chuckled when I showed him the message. "Subtle," he said. "Like a freight train," I laughed, but I was grateful. Because Maya hadn't just given us permission. She'd given us a nudge we didn't even know we needed. In the days that followed, Xavier and I became something more. We went on long walks, tried new recipes, and talked late into the night. It was slow, steady, and real. A few weeks later, over Thai takeout, he looked at me and said, "This feels like home." And it did. 6 months down the line, Maya moved in with her boyfriend, and Xavier didn't bother looking for a new roommate. He moved into my apartment and into my life permanently. The spare room became his office. The couch where it all started, still our favorite place to curl up on quiet nights, usually with popcorn and the kind of movies we finally do watch all the way through. Sometimes we laugh about how it all began. About the broken AC, the late-night wine, and the knock on the door that changed everything. Love doesn't always start with grand gestures. Sometimes it begins with a favor, a quiet moment, a choice to open the door, both literally and figuratively. And I'm so glad I did.